Mr. MP Narayan, distinguished members of the dais, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. It is indeed an honor and privilege to be here with you on this very important occasion and to be part of this inaugural panel of the eWorld Forum on e-governance now and in the future. I think one of the advantages of coming and speaking last is that all the important things that need to be said have already been said. The challenge that remains for the last speaker, of course, is continuing to engage. I think what I'll do is just highlight a few key areas where I think UNDP can give some practical context. And in that regard, one of the overriding frames within which UNDP works is sustainable human development. It's very much at the core of who we are and what we do. And in that context, and I think we'd like to discuss the issue of e-governance and ICT in that context, is the wider canvas of international goals, the Millennium Development Goals, the post-2015 agenda that's being debated next week and continuing, and national goals such as inclusive growth. The second broad area was to look at key areas within e-governance and the impact that the achievement of the national goals that these can have on national goals and global goals as well. And then thirdly, just to highlight a few examples from some of the work that UNDP is engaged in with the government of India on information communication technologies in the domain of governance and knowledge sharing and knowledge management. So let me start. I would say one of the key objectives of this forum is to discuss how information and communication technologies can be integrated or mainstreamed into development strategies and programs to achieve the Millennium Development Goals. And as we all know, and we read in the papers, in about a week's time, the Rio +20 United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development will be taking place. And they will be taking stock of achievements made after the 1992 Rio Summit, during which the landmark Agenda 21 was agreed to and launched. It was really a blueprint to rethink economic growth, advance social equity, and ensure environmental protection. And it is expected that the Rio conference will set important guideposts for the MDG agenda. It will also have a discussion of sustainable development goals, and most importantly, will sharpen the focus on sustainable development with three core pillars: economic development, social development, and environmental protection. For UNDP, we are keen to see an integrated approach to these three important goals. Inclusion, which is a key objective of the government's 12th plan and strategy for inclusive growth, can only be achieved in a sustainable manner if all three dimensions of development, economic, social, and environmental, are addressed by policies, programs, and partnerships with civil society and the private sector and government, of course. In this context, there's a critical role of information and communication technologies as integrators of these three dimensions of development, and this role cannot be overemphasized. Let me now highlight a few areas in which ICTs can make a tremendous impact on the achievement of development goals. I'll start first with the power of mobile telephony, we've heard already this morning, as an extraordinary tool for participation, information sharing, and economic empowerment of persistently excluded and women. And it's a tremendous potential that has yet to be fully exploited and yield its results. It's very interesting that in some parts of the world, Africa and least developed countries, they've made a leap beyond some of the information gains that have been made here in India and have gone directly to mobile telephony. And it's a very interesting domain. India is probably the world's leading technologies on computer information technologies, but yet to fully exploit the mobile telephony. Radio, television, and internet are also playing an important role to enable even faster flow of information. From education to political participation, citizens are able to access information with much greater ease and speed. While there are still problems of access, which are being tackled through a range of government schemes and through entrepreneurial activity, a key new challenge has become the quality and accuracy of information. And this, it seems to me, requires a concerted effort on the side of the government, the private sector, and civil society. That is, generating relevant and fresh data sets on key concerns and development issues, and in checking the validity and accuracy of this data, and packaging it in a form that makes it easily accessible to all. This is not easy, and particularly in a diverse country like India, but one task that has to be tackled. Involving communities in the generation and validation of such data is a very promising approach that is greatly enhanced through the application of ICTs and contributes to the sustainability and validity of that data. We are aware of many such initiatives across the world that are making use of crowdsourcing, geographical information systems, GIS, to generate useful information for local planning, disaster risk reduction, emergency response, public information, and the delivery of basic services. In order to achieve the goal of greater inclusion, ICT developers and innovators will need to develop a sound understanding of the needs of the persistently excluded. Solutions, as it has been mentioned already, need to bridge information, language, and knowledge gaps. If ICT could cut across the communications barriers, and it holds that potential, to help identify innovative ways to reach the persistently excluded with information, knowledge, and services, a next wave of democratization would be in the offing. Like the previous speakers, we also see great opportunities in the use of information and communication technology to help increase the efficiency of public administration, assist public service providers in providing better quality and easier access to essential services, and to make decisions and transactions more transparent and comprehensible for citizens. Let me give you just a few examples from some of the lessons we've learned with UNDP. A joint UNDP and Government of India ICT for Development program successfully implemented a range of pilot initiatives experimenting with ICT innovations, ranging from integrated citizen services and rural livelihoods to legal literacy and women's empowerment. The initiatives included community radio, village knowledge centers, and ICT-enabled agricultural services, among others. Our project evaluation for the initiatives that focused on e-governance has underscored the value of mobile technologies, their reach to remote areas, the ease of access, and the fact that they offer both voice and text communication make mobile technology extremely useful in the dissemination of information, for feedback mechanisms, and for tracking of service requests. The project initiative Dristi in West Bengal piloted the computerization of the fund management and accounting systems in PRIs. It also included a public information system based on text messaging, which enabled PRI functionaries and villagers to monitor schemes and request up-to-date information on livelihood and pension schemes through their mobile phones. Some of the distinguished speakers on the dais have themselves been part of these initiatives and have since put tremendous effort and resources in supporting governance through the schemes they have designed and initiated. We commend the Government of India for their focus on innovation, for leveraging the potential of ICTs, for dedicating impressive resources to infrastructure expansion and innovation, and for schemes using ICTs as well as special initiatives, as have been mentioned, such as the e-Panchayat. We have found that ICTs can have a great impact across all practice areas that UNDP works in. And for example, in our Access to Justice program, helplines have been set up to provide legal assistance to marginalized communities. Callers approach the helpline staff with their own cases of abuse, domestic violence, or even conflicts among neighbors. They are put in touch with service providers and centers that offer further assistance. At times, the immediate need is to have a person and a voice to talk to receive information about rights and entitlements, and direct them on the course of action. Communities are most engaged when the interface is based on regional and local languages and combines a number of services in an integrated portal. It simplifies it for the end user. Our experience shows that dedicated capacity building efforts need to accompany technology deployment, and the awareness of the citizens needs to be raised through proper communication strategy. In essence, ICT should not be an add-on to programs and schemes. They need to become an integral part of our planning, our programming process to unfold their full potential, which is yet to be tapped. At the United Nations, we are very proud to have been one of our knowledge-sharing initiatives nominated amongst those for the eWorld 2012 Awards in the Localized Application Content category. The UN Solutions Exchange is a knowledge-sharing platform and interface that brings together some 30,000 development experts and practitioners within India. Originally, it started in 2005 in India, and now Solutions Exchange networks exist, and the model developed in India has been exported to 5 countries in the region, including Bhutan, Bangladesh, Philippines, and even beyond, Russia and the Pacific region. To date, there are some 50,000 members across 19 thematic communities covering all Millennium Development Goals. And these communities of practice have been able to tap a vast knowledge base of development practitioners who are storehouses of knowledge, development experience, and solutions, and have linked these effectively to policymakers and government. Tapping into the United Nations convening role and its impartiality, it opens a channel for government policymakers and program managers to seek insight and experience from concerned professionals, elected representatives, researchers, activists, consultants, donor organizations, NGOs, international agencies, to mention a few. When we were asked for example, to provide development solutions, we are able to activate a network of development practitioners and experts within a very short time frame. ICT has made Solutions Exchange highly cost-effective and enabled us to reach beyond national boundaries and sectoral divides. Every individual's knowledge adds a new dimension and offers a fresh perspective on development challenges. Instead of reinventing the wheel, members can analyze, adapt, and apply solutions that are built on the lessons learned by others. If I would just maybe highlight a few others. In the past, we relied on experts and consultants to help us find answers to development challenges. It is thanks to the use of ICTs we can now generate fast and well-grounded information and feedback using a low-tech email format. Solutions Exchange regularly contributes to policy making by facilitating a discussion through which development practitioners and experts can provide policy recommendations. And so far it has done so in the context of the approach to the 12th Five-Year Plan across several thematic areas. Apart from enhancing the quality of exchange and knowledge sharing, IT can also be used as an enabler for inclusion. Building on our network with civil society, UNDP facilitated a wide consultative process that brought voices from excluded groups to the heart of national development planning in India, with in-depth inputs provided by almost 850 marginalized groups to the approach paper on India's next 5-year roadmap. I think coinciding with the Government of India's planning cycle, UNDP will be beginning its next country program in 2013. And we have set ourselves the goal of integrating ICTs across all our areas, all our programmatic work, and innovations for a more transparent, effective, and efficient service delivery, as well as better access to rights and entitlements, will be addressed in close partnership with our government partners. At UNDP, we see ICT as a means to enhance human development. And as Mr. Mettal has highlighted earlier, ICTs have the potential to transform the way we interact with each other, with governments, with public institutions, with civil society, with the private sector, through a range of creative and deeply grounded networks. There is a tremendous potential to empower those who are persistently excluded and to give voice to many who have not had one before. I wish you very successful deliberations over the next few days and look forward to hearing about the outcomes for e-governance solutions that this forum may propose, and UNDP stands ready to support you in taking forward these initiatives. Thank you very much.